Just a reminder that these videos are made for adult doll collectors or adults buying dolls for others. This is not a video for children. Viewer discretion is advised. Thank you very much for listening. Hello Internet! My name is Kelsey and welcome back to my closet. So this is going to be a little bit of a different video because we're going to be looking at a vintage doll. This is Sleeping Beauty. This is a Mattel Sleeping Beauty from the 90s. Now, the reason that I decided to get this doll is because if you've seen a couple of times I went to this local antique store and there were a couple of vendors who had this specific Sleeping Beauty. And I kept eyeing her every time that I went, but I was like, I don't want to spend that much on her because there was one stall in particular that really overpriced a lot of inboxed dolls like this one and a lot of inboxed Barbies. If you've seen those videos, you probably remember me pointing that out. But then that antique store closed, so now I couldn't even decide if I wanted to go back and get the one that was still there. I finally took the plunge and got her on eBay because I just kept thinking about her because she's really cute, but also she has a transforming dress. And Sleeping Beauty is usually mostly portrayed in the pink dress, but this one can go from pink to blue. And I kept thinking about that and I was like, she was really cute, and now the only way I'm gonna get her is on eBay. And so I decided since my birthday is coming up, I would treat myself to something a little bit different. She also has a water feature that you can close her eyes with water. I'm not sure if it works anymore because her eyes are kind of cloudy looking, but that's not a big deal. Sleeping Beauty is not so much up there on my top princesses, although I do have a fondness for the movie. I like a lot of the songs in it. I remember watching it a lot when I was little because it was just one of the VHSs we had around the house. But it's not like I collect a bunch of Aurora stuff. I don't really collect princess dolls outside of LE Disney dolls, but I could be tempted to buy more of the vintage Mattel dolls because they're just nostalgic even though I never had them as a kid myself. All that aside, let's look at the packaging. What's cute too about the packaging, in this like series of the Mattel princesses, they each had unique packaging that it was the same shape, but the colors and the backdrops were different based on their movies, which they still do now, but most of the packages look the same to me for the newer princess dolls, but they incorporate too little stills from their movies and stuff like that, and the text from the movie. Down in the corner it shows you magically close her eyes with water. She also comes with a little golden book, which are also super nostalgic for anyone who grew up in the 90s. And here's Aurora herself. Again, you can see that her eyes are kind of cloudy, but she's still very pretty. Out of all of the classic Disney movies, like obviously most of my favorite Disney movies are from the Renaissance era because that's when I grew up, and plus that was just, they were really amazing movies. So that's a lot of my favorites, but I would say Sleeping Beauty is probably my favorite of the classic era, the pre-Renaissance, pre-Dark Ages, I guess. Because when was Sleeping Beauty? In the 50s? 60s? I don't remember. But it's definitely one that I watched a lot more than some of the other princess movies. Over here you can see Flora. Yes, I believe that's Flora, the red fairy. And then on the back, I think this is super cute. It kind of shows you how you can set up playing out the scene where Philip comes and wakes her up. So there was a Philip doll available in this line. Yeah, his outfit transforms too. So he transforms from like this outfit into the outfit with his little feather cap that kind of gives him a Robin Hood vibe. And he has a sword and shield. It says, Prince Philip's costume turns into a handsome horseman's outfit too. Also includes Shield of Virtue and the Sword of Truth he used against Maleficent. I also love this up here. The little picture of Aurora says Disney Classics Sleeping Beauty. And this piece here says Sleeping Beauty Storybook inside. Over here, as the beautiful princess lay in an eternal sleep, Prince Philip knelt by her side. With one kiss from her true love, Sleeping Beauty's spell was broken. At last, Sleeping Beauty and her prince would live together happily ever after. And then at the bottom also, you could get a different Aurora and a Maleficent in this line. So we have collect the authentic mask and fashions inspired by Disney's animated film, Sleeping Beauty, each sold separately. The Sleeping Beauty peasant dress. So it wasn't separate dolls, these are fashion packs. Sleeping Beauty peasant dress fits any 11.5-inch fashion doll. Maleficent mask and costume playset fits any 11.5-inch fashion doll. So you could put Barbie in this Maleficent costume to give yourself a Maleficent doll without having a separate doll. Interesting. Okay, I think that's enough of this nice old box. I think it's time to open it. I love the metal twist ties in old doll packaging. Look how easy it is to get her out without cutting anything, without accidentally ripping anything. And they used thread instead of T-ties to tack down the dress in the box. Ew, what is that? Ah, gross. Ah, I need to wash my hands after this. Ew, ew, ew. Okay, but this is an old doll, so... And she's been in the box all this time, so I guess the person did not know that that was there. We're going to treat her a little bit like a biohazard, but it's okay. The dress and everything looks okay. Oh no, oh dear, oh no. Never mind, we're gonna have to wash the dress too. Let's look at her, and then I'm going to disinfect her thoroughly. First of all, so here is her face, and again, she kind of has a scary look because of the cloudy eyes, but they were supposed to change from open to close. I'm just gonna put my finger on it and see if warmth is what makes it change. Oh, it is warmth. Okay. Let me hold my fingers on here and see if I can get her to close her eyes. It's not working super well, but I think her pupils have faded a little bit. When you see the video, you'll probably be able to tell better. But besides that, the rest of her face is very simple. She just has some blonde eyebrows, pink lipstick, and a pretty basic princessy kind of face mold. I'm not sure if they used all the same molds for the Disney princesses in this era of Mattel. I am pretty sure her hair might be saran because it has that waxiness, and even though it feels dry because it's old and it's been in the box for a long time, it has that smooth feeling like it could be saran. Either that or it's like a high-grade poly, but it feels pretty nice, honestly, for being stuck in the box for so long. It's a nice golden blonde. Once I clean her up and wash this hair, I'm sure it's gonna be really nice. And this, I love. This is super nostalgic too. So this crown is not plastic. It's that... I don't even know what to call this material, like a foamy material with texture in it to look like a metal gold encrusted crown. It is blank on the back, but this kind of material was used on so many Barbie accessories in the 90s and the late 80s that it's super nostalgic. I'm sure everybody who's watching who was in that era knows what I'm talking about. And it just velcros around her head at the back. It does look pretty good for just being velcroed around. I think it might be tied onto her head right now, but you could probably easily get it back in place like this without ruining like the look. It would probably sit nicely. The necklace is also made of that material. It's a gold shiny pointed necklace reminiscent of what she wears in the film. And then we get down to the outfit. Ooh, her arms. Okay, so she cannot lift her arms outward. They only go forward and back. That I'm a little surprised about. Unless it's just that her joints are, no, they are not meant to go out. So her articulation then is basic 5 points, but limited 5 points. Her legs do not go out either. They only go front and back, and she has click knees. You hear that? I mean, back then, a lot of dolls didn't have extra articulation. Being that this is a Mattel doll, I would have expected at least for her articulation to be similar to most basic Barbies, because Barbie could move her shoulders up and down besides forward and back, so that's kind of weird. But it's okay. I'm not trying to pose her in all kinds of crazy ways anyway. Then we get down to her outfit, which is one of the big features of this doll. So she has a cellophane collar that sticks up like the dress she wears in the movie, and it goes into cellophane sleeves. Obviously, this is kind of a cheapy feeling material, but you know, they were trying to achieve the look of how it looks in the movie, and it is a shiny material. Again, I can't complain. This is a vintage doll. I can't give it a hard time the way you give a modern doll because it happened before. There's nothing we could do about it now. Times were different. It still looks cute, and I still like the shininess of it. I like the iridescent quality that it gives. It's just crinkly, that's all. The bodice is a pink satin, or at least the top bodice is a pink satin. This is the pink form of the dress, so we'll see how it transforms shortly. So this is nice. It's got some darts here to form it better to her body. It really doesn't look, well, up close you can start to see where the blue is hiding, but honestly, you could have fooled me and said this is just her dress. It doesn't do anything. And I would be like, okay, yeah, it's the pink dress. It makes sense. That's what they always put her in. You know, the fact that they designed it in a way that it can transform and it doesn't look all bulky and weird, I appreciate that. On the skirt part, there's more of the cellophane, just as a little decorative trim. It goes in a point, and they do go around to the back as well. And the skirt is pink tulle over a white stiff satin. Now, I'm trying to be careful because there does seem to be some mold on this dress, and you can see it right there. Ugh, gross. But again, this is old. I guess it wasn't stored very well. I'm gonna do my best to clean it very carefully when I'm done with this. And there is some glitter glue overlays, and there are some glittery details here. It's kind of like they did glitter glue and just made some designs. So we have some 5-pointed, 6-pointed sparkles and a bunch of dots, and that pattern, it's not everywhere, but it does continue all throughout the entire skirt in various places, which I appreciate. It just adds something a little bit more. And I do like that the satin underlayer, or maybe this is organza. Either way, I like that the underlayer makes it look shiny as well. And they are finished at the bottom. We have some shiny hemming along the bottom of both parts of the skirt. So that is the base outfit as she comes in the box. She also has the white shoes and a Barbie brush that I'm not gonna touch right now because that also has like mold and stuff on it. And she comes with this little accessory here, which is what you're supposed to use to change her eyes from open to close. I think it's a mirror with a little towel attached to it. So let me see if it opens. So I guess it's supposed to look like a mirror, but when you open it, it doesn't have anything inside. It's just the ends of the towel. And I guess that's so you can take it out and dry it if you're playing with it so that it doesn't get moldy. Not that this whole playset isn't already moldy. It does have some sculpted details, like little sparkles on both sides. It's a cute piece, a cute way to just add in the color changing element while still making it look like something she might have on her vanity or something in the palace. This is the little golden book, but it's in some nasty plastic. It's one of those mini ones, and it's just the story of Sleeping Beauty. Again, we will put this over here and try to disinfect it later. Anyway, so now let's see how her dress transforms. So there is Velcro up here. Now this is the only part of the dress that gives you any hint that something else is going on. The back of the pink bodice does not continue all the way up, so you can see the blue bodice underneath there. So if you unvelcro the pink bodice comes off separately, and then you open the skirt and flip it the other way around, and you have the blue dress. So on this side, it doesn't have all the extra glittery details. It just has a very pale blue netting over top, but it does have more of the iridescent hemming at the bottom, and when it lays over the organza layer, or whatever this is, it gives it a little bit more of a bluish tone. Now, the pink is pretty strong though, so you can kind of see it a little bit through the underside, but not so much that it's like, oh, this is still the pink dress. It definitely still looks like a blue dress. And then the only difference here is that instead of having the sparkles on the skirt, we have the sparkles on the bodice, and they are silver instead of gold. And they do continue all the way around. This is actually a stretchy knit. That also helps it form better to the body. So I guess they were different so that it was easier for the transformation, or to make it less bulky looking while it's on the doll. The other fun thing is that you could kind of combine both looks. So you could put the pink bodice back on, you could have the skirt flip to pink while you have the blue bodice. You've got options. So yeah, I am really glad to have this doll, even if she's kind of disgusting right now, and I hope I'm not inhaling all kinds of deadly diseases by holding her. I am glad that I finally have her. I finally got to see this transforming dress element, and I think she's really fun. It shows you what Mattel princesses used to be like compared to what they're like now. And it wasn't just Mattel. I mean, towards the end of their run with Disney, they were already getting kind of cheap, and then Hasbro was wildly up and down the scale of cheap versus non-cheap, and now Mattel has it back and they're kind of doing the same thing. So I wish we were getting more princess dolls that were kind of like this. Either newer princesses that have come out since the 90s, or just going back and redoing classic princesses in this kind of a style. I would like to see the modern Aurora face with a transforming dress like this, but I doubt we're gonna get something like that. Anyway, so let me know what you think. Did you have this doll or any other interesting Mattel princesses from back in the 90s? Thanks so much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the video with your friends, and until next time, I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. Time for me to take a bath.